Good afternoon. Hello, and welcome back to T is for Temidayo. Today is December 29th, 2025. It is 1:20 p.m. Today is day 29 of 365 days of tea for me. Let's get started. All right, that's one pump. That's two big juicy pumps. Oh no, I need to pull up my shirt. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Here we go. That's two big juicy pumps. Split it between the two palms. Rubbing it on the shoulders and the upper arms. Two pumps, two palms, shoulders, and upper arms. Two pumps, two palms, shoulders, and upper arms. All right, I think that's about as much as those can take. So the rest I'm just gonna rub on my abdomen here. All right. Hands are dry. Done! Shoulders are pretty much almost dry as well. All right. Yes. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm feeling better. I no longer feel like a walking pile of blood and fart and period poops and cramps and bloating and discomfort. I feel like a person who is bleeding, which is not great, but it's better than the alternative. So I'm going to be right back because I'm going to put these shirts back on, let this dry for a second, and then come right back. All right, here we go. So today's topic is going to be two parts. The first part's going to be just a quick little check-in, and then the second part is going to include some more reading from the T-Gel manuscript. First, the check-in. I wanted to say that I was pretty depressed yesterday. And again, not depressed in the sense of like depression is something that just like is at all times, but I think what I would call like a depressive spell or real like episode of depression was happening. Similarly to like how you would experience like a panic attack, in the sense where you're like, oh, my anxiety is like at a peak right now. I would say my depression was also at a sort of peak between the night before last and then yesterday morning. And after crying myself to sleep the night before last, and then waking up in the morning and feeling the same, I decided to reach out to community, and just ask for support. That came in the form of my partner coming to spend the day with me, to cheer me up, to make sure that I was fed. They love to make sure that I have red meat or something with high iron, especially on the first day, ideally before the first day, but if not, then like the first, second day of my cycle, so that I can replenish my iron levels. I think it's really sweet that they do that. And then I checked in with a friend, just about how I was feeling isolated because I was sick over the holidays, and that meant that I can't really be out and about, and I didn't really have plans that didn't include me also doing a lot of labor when I was going to be like in that community in the holiday. And it was hard to be like, I don't have a place to go during this time where it feels like either you're hyper aware of your isolation or you're like inundated with people. And I didn't really have the latter, so I was really clearly sitting with the former. But after spending the day with my partner yesterday, just eating and reading and talking to one another and spending time and getting hugged and kissed, it was like everything that my spirit needed. And again, I'm not like magically cured. That's not really like a thing with depression. I think right now it feels more manageable again, which I'm really happy for. Now we read. Okay, so where we were yesterday was we had just finished reading under section one's limitations of usage, the two C2s, which included use in specific populations, section 8.4, and then clinical pharmacology, section 12.3. And I believe when we were reading section 12.3, there was another C2. So that's where we'll pick up today. And then hopefully we'll be done with this section 1 plus plus plus. All right. So the last sentence before the C2 reads under, of course, pharmacokinetics and absorption in section 12.3, which was a C2 for sections 1, limitations of use. It reads, the rotation of abdomen and upper arm shoulders was a method used in the pivotal clinical trial C, clinical studies for 14.1. So I'm going to move down to 14.1, and here it is, section 14, clinical studies. 14.1 says, clinical trials in hypogonadal males. Here we go. Testosterone gel 1.62% was evaluated in a multi-center randomized double-blind parallel group placebo-controlled study. Period. They said we covered all the bases. In parentheses, we have an 182-day double-blind period, okay? And in 274 hypogonadal men with body mass index 18 to 40 kg over m squared and 18 to 80 years of age. Mean age of this group was 53.8 years old. Okay, so these are also grown men. Grown. 274 of them. But the age range in its entirety was 18 to 80. I wonder if this is like a full bell curve or if it was like giving, skewing in one direction, skewing in another. Hopefully it was more of like a bell. The patients had average serum testosterone concentrations of less than 3 ng over D capital L, as determined by 2 morning samples collected on the same visit. Okay, interesting. Same visit, 2 morning samples collected same day. Patients were Caucasian, 83%, Black, 13%, Asian or Native American, 4%, 7.5% of patients were Hispanic. Okay, so this is giving very also like, what years was this? Does it say? I'm gonna need the year. Patients were randomized to receive active treatment or placebo using a rotation method utilizing the abdomen and upper arms and shoulders for 182 days. Okay, so yes, half them got the treatment, half them got a placebo. Neither of them knew that the people administering these, and half of them were told just do the shoulders. Other half of the folks who were getting the serum were told do the shoulders and the abdomen. Okay, so there's technically 4 groups. There's shoulders all the time with the actual gel. There's shoulders and abdomen all the time with the gel. And then there's shoulders and abdomen, but you're actually getting a placebo. And then shoulders, but you're actually getting a placebo. Patients were randomized to receive active treatment or placebo using a rotation method utilizing the abdomen and upper arms, shoulders for 182 days. All patients were started at a daily dose of 40.5 mg's, 2 pumps actuations, testosterone gel 1.62% or matching placebo on day 1 of the study. Patients returned to the clinic on day 14, day 28, and day 42 for pre-dose serum total testosterone assessments. Okay. Well, it's 182 days though, so what happened after day 42? Interesting. The patient's daily dose was titrated up or down in 20.25 milligram increments if the pre-dose serum testosterone value was outside of the range of 350 to 750 ng over D capital L. Interesting. The study included 4 active testosterone gel 1.62% doses, 20.25 milligrams, 40.5 milligrams, 60.75 milligrams, and 81 milligrams daily. Okay, so some people were taking either 1, 2, 3, or 4 pumps of this gel. The primary endpoint was the percentage of patients with C average within the normal range of 300 to 1,000 ng over DL on day 112. But again, that means there's 70 days after that. In patients treated with testosterone gel 1.62%, 81.6%, 146 of the 179 had C average within the normal, and C average is the like testosterone, that's the nomenclature for the testosterone. Within the normal range at day 112. The secondary endpoint was the percentage of patients with C average above 3 predetermined limits. The percentages of patients with C max greater than 1,500 ng over D capital L and between 1,800 and 2,499 ng over D capital L on day 112 were 11% and 5.5% respectively. So, okay, so some people really like started seeing it. Wow. Okay. 2 patients had a C max above 2,500 ng over D capital L on day 112. And that is 2,510 ng over DL and 2,550 ng over DL respectively. So some people were really at the upper extremes, but again, those tend to be outliers, and so they do not really get put into the average. Neither of these 2 patients demonstrated a normal Cmax on prior or subsequent assessments at the same dose. Interesting. So this also seemed to be a spike right at day 112. What's going to happen to me on day 112? Oh, shit. Oh, shit, indeed. Okay, anyway. Patients could agree to continue an open-label active treatment maintenance period of the study for an additional 182 days. Interesting. Dose titrations on day 14, 28, and 42 resulted in final doses of 20.25 milligrams to 8.1 milligrams on day 112 as shown in table 6. All right. So we'll leave it at that because we're almost hitting the 13-minute mark. And we will pick up on this chart, which we will look into. It has 4 different figures, so that'll be the next thing that we check into about. So they did do a study, but my thing is human error. How much is that being factored into what's happening here? Because this requires these folks to administer this to themselves. And as you know, as even I'm showing you right now, humans make error. Humans will choose to maybe do a day where they put it on their glutes instead of their shoulders, or maybe they'll do a pump and they'll think they did 2 pumps, but then they'll accidentally have done 3 pumps, or they'll have thought they did 2 pumps, but they actually only did 1 pump. There's so much margin for error. I look forward to seeing what the figures also do to like respect that margin of error, to honor that margin of error. On that note, that is all the time we have for today. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for more T is for Temidayo. Love you. Bye.